So the NBA draft lottery has just concluded. These are the results as you can see on screen. Obviously, the big winner here is Detroit. They ended up with the number 1 overall pick, which ultimately means that they're ending up with the consensus number 1 overall pick in Cade Cunningham. A fantastic player, 6'7", athletic. But there's also other teams that bounced out, that kind of lost in this draft because of the positions that they had. Obviously, the big, I think, losers of this draft, and Sam, you and I could talk about it, is, I think, the Minnesota Timberwolves.
It means
you have no skills and you're a loser!
Just because they were top 4 protected from the D'Lo trade, and they obviously, as you can see on screen, ended up with the 7th overall pick, which means it goes to Golden State. Sam, what are your initial thoughts on just the draft lottery as its own, and also the winners and losers?
Yeah, so one of the first things that I saw, like almost immediately after the draft, is that Cade Cunningham is only getting 1 team interview. He is so confident that he is the number 1 pick, that he's only meeting the Detroit Pistons. He was just waiting to see what team he would meet with. How much confidence in yourself do you gotta have to say, you know what? I don't want to meet with the Rockets or the Cavs. I'm wasting my time making those trips. I'm just going to go to Detroit, do my thing, and I don't even got to sell myself. I'm the number 1 overall pick. Like,
yeah,
I can only aspire to have that kind of confidence to only show up to 1 team meeting. This is some superstar mentality, and I really hope he lives up to that hype, because this Detroit team really needs it. You know?
I mean, to be fair, and honestly, we look at this Detroit team, and I don't want to stick on Detroit for too long because we do have 13 other teams to cover in this draft. But Detroit, I think there's actual some buzz around it, because I think out of the whole draft lottery, this was one of the few teams I actually think it made sense for Cade Cunningham to go to. I think another team would have been the Toronto Raptors. You know, they can, Fred VanVleet could run some kind of 1-2 guard position. Obviously, we kind of saw that with Charlotte with LaMelo and I'm forgetting his name.
So what is your name?
my name.
Yes, your name.
My name na
Like Terry Rozier. Rozier or
and Devontae Graham. Like there's some good young teams, and we'll get to the Hornets too, because they're picking there at number 11.
And there could be some exciting prospects for them as well. But let's move on from Detroit. I think honestly they are looking great. I mean, Saddiq Bey and Isaiah Stewart, both guys named on all-rookie team. I know Killian Hayes was dealing with injuries, but he could also be kind of some sort of system there as well. A 2-guard lineup with both of them on the court, especially since Killian Hayes is, I think, probably the better defender, but that's just my opinion. And then also when you think about it, they're also just under the salary cap, and if they move some contracts out, they could bring in some nice veterans in as well to maybe compete for, at least, I would honestly say, for either a seed or to make it into the play-in tournament.
They should, if they don't have the turnaround from one season to the next that at least like the Hornets had last year, I think it's going to be a disappointment, because
you think about
the writing is on the wall.
The Hornets did. They drafted LaMelo, and then they went out and got Gordon Hayward. So they were trying to bring in veteran pieces to a young team already. And it kind of worked out for them, because the Hornets almost made the playoffs this year. They were, they were bounced in the play-in tournament, but they got LaMelo winning Rookie of the Year, looking really well. The team's starting to really kind of gel, and they do look like a competitive team out east. Now let's move on to some of the other winners in this draft lottery result. Sam, is there any other winner that you want to highlight besides Detroit?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to take a look right now. I mean, the Rockets survived by the skin of their teeth. They weren't guaranteed to have a draft pick in the top 14 at all. They were the worst team, so much so that I think we already made this joke before in another video, so go find that one. But Kelly Olynyk was their best player. But they survived. They weren't guaranteed, so I guess that makes the Thunder the sort of losers, but they got 3 draft picks in this draft. This first round, it's hard to call them a loser.
3 and 4, like, you want the 4th, but like they have like 18 first-round picks until 2027.
I'm sure they could trade up. I'm sure they could trade up if they really wanted to, if that's what their heart desires.
Or make a move or something like that. But if you look at Golden State, know, 7 and 14, plus having some luxury contracts with guys like Kelly Oubre, Andrew Wiggins, possibly even Draymond as well. They can even throw in James Wiseman into a trade if it's an all-star caliber player. That could be a move that will honestly, I think, shake up the Western Conference if they're able to get another all-star player alongside a returning Clay and an MVP caliber performance that we just saw this season from Steph Curry.
Yeah, dude. And I mean, they got kind of lucky here too. We'll get to our losers, but they stole that number 7 pick because the Minnesota Timberwolves really should have had a higher pick. It was top 3 projected, so they had pretty good odds to get that top 3 pick. I remember we did a preview of the lottery, and they had some pretty good chance to actually keep that top 3 pick, and they missed out. And the Warriors, you know, it's the rich get richer in the NBA, and the Warriors are one of those teams that seems to always be in position to get lucky like that. They make good moves, they make good trades, and this is now just setting them up. They are sitting on a gold mine, and hopefully the Warriors GM is not like Danny Ainge was for the Celtics. Hopefully he actually pulls a trigger, makes a move. They can package together 2 lottery picks and, like you were saying, some valuable contracts, some valuable guys. I don't see them ever moving on from Draymond Green. I think he's a Warriors lifer. He's probably not going anywhere. But some of those
I'm just saying, as a movable contract, if they needed to get to, because an all-star, you know, is getting paid $20 million. He's kind of getting paid around that same, like a little bit less, but just around that.
But if they need a move, like an Oubre, a Wiggins, or even a Wiseman, I like how you threw him in there because he might not fit their timeline, even though I think he's a really talented player.
Yeah,
they can move some of those guys around and get a top level player with that package. So I mean, there's one pick I want to take a look at and really examine because we've made a whole dissection about this team's situation before, and it's the Pelicans. They're sitting at number 10. I'm sure they would have liked to get a slightly higher pick, but I don't think they're upset with that. That's right where they're projected to get anyways. But there's a lot of turmoil going on in New Orleans. Zion doesn't like the situation. Brandon Ingram doesn't like the situation. So this number 10 pick, is there any rookie that you could get in the number 10 that will solve it? Or do they have to send this pick out somewhere else and hopefully get a veteran back to maybe make those guys?
No, I think honestly, if they add another dynamic scorer alongside Zion and Brandon Ingram, I think preferably if it's in the guard position, because Josh Hart does come off the bench, and they obviously traded JJ Redick, so those guys aren't gonna help out. But maybe they get a point guard to replace Bledsoe if they could, like if one does fall to them. I think they just need another good scorer, a good wing scorer to space the floor for Zion and to give him another option out on the 3-point line. There is a lot of turmoil right now. We did talk about that in our Zion video, so go make sure you guys check it out. They'll probably be up in like the I thing, whatever, somewhere.
Yeah, we're plugging quite a few of our videos.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we make great content.
What does that have to do with anything?
No, he's got a point.
In my opinion, but in terms of the number 10 pick, I mean, I think they could get something valuable there. If they do decide to move on from it, I think they need to get, again, a quality guard and someone that's a definite upgrade over Eric Bledsoe, because obviously trading Drew Holiday was a big mistake.
I know that every year we go into the draft thinking that there's gonna be some massive trade, some big swings, but if you look,
I want my number 1s back, all of them.
Yeah, like on the day of the draft, exactly. And we'll be previewing it more. We'll be doing probably some live stream on the draft night, and we're gonna be talking about all the rumors that come up. But I feel like if there had to be a year where there would be some big swings, it has to be this one, because if you look at the draft board right now, there's a couple teams that have multiple picks in the lottery. We're looking at the Magic. We're looking at the Warriors. And the Warriors seem like they don't really need those picks. They kind of want to
be honest, yeah.
Their timeline is different. So maybe there's a young team that would want to trade into those picks. The Magic have 2 picks. They're different. They kind of need that younger roster to overhaul. But also, this isn't that kind of a draft class where number 5 overall pick is the most valuable, because it seems like you could get something later on and get similar value. But
Well, this is the G League draft, so a lot of these guys that opted out of college and decided to play in the G League, this is where they're going to, this is the draft that they're finally able to go from the G League to the NBA, and we see guys like Jalen Green be one of those guys, talked about as a top 4, top 5 overall pick. I think honestly, it's going to be a very interesting draft. Really quickly, we'll wrap up with one loser from each of us. For me, I'm gonna have to say Chicago Bulls. I think definitely losing out on a top 4 pick. I know it was protected, but they were honestly 1 pick away, if you think about it.
Yeah, right? Because that went to the Magic right there at number 5.
And no, so I'm sorry, they're at number 8. My bad. They were.
Oh, it's the number 8 one?
That was the number 8. Yeah. The 5 was the Magics, but did have 20% to be in the top 4. Which is still kind of good odds to at least land in the top 4. They were 4 spots off. For me, I think what they're doing in Chicago is great. They finally have a good piece around Zach LaVine. Some good pieces around Zach LaVine. I think just being able to utilize that pick in another trade to get another all-star caliber player, or just some more great role pieces for Zach LaVine and Vucevic, I think could have really helped them out. But Sam, really quickly, you're a loser, and we'll wrap up the video.
Yeah, well, outside of maybe Cade Cunningham, who now has to spend at least like 8 years of his career in Detroit.
We're not Detroit!
The real loser is the Timberwolves, because it seems like, and it's almost unfair to even say it, because it seems like they've always had lottery luck.
Bruh, look at this dude. Wait till you see the...
And now this is the year where they finally, the luck odds finally turned against them. Because if you look at the last few years, they got Karl-Anthony Towns first overall. They got Anthony Edwards first overall. Seems like they really like
lottery pick. Yeah,
I mean, they like taking guys with Anthony in the name with their first overall pick. But now this is a draft where we don't see the Timberwolves in the lottery at all, and that's because they traded away that pick to the Warriors.
That massive
for
D'Lo pick,
for
and
D'Lo.
massive, pretty much. And that massive D'Lo for Andrew Wiggins trade. Yeah, I mean, listen, it is unfortunate for them, and it definitely could have helped them out. Maybe they're going to be able to trade into the draft later on. That could be a possibility. This could be a selling draft. I honestly, to be honest, I'm not that knowledgeable about this draft outside of Cade Cunningham and some G League guys, because that's pretty much who's been in the news lately. And like,
it's a weird draft because they haven't really been able to scout the players as much, because it's been a weird college season.
Honestly, it has. So I haven't been able to take a deep dive into this draft. Once I do, I'll give you my draft analysis, and we will as well, closer to the draft and all that. So guys, stay tuned. You guys better subscribe and turn on post notifications so you guys know when we post that content if you are interested. But with that being said, that's going to be it for us. Sam, any final thoughts on the draft lottery?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just stuck up on the playoffs right now, so it's kind of hard to look ahead to the off season when we got so much action going on. But definitely stay tuned, because we got so much awesome content coming out for you guys. It's not even funny. But if you did enjoy, make sure to like, comment, and let us know what you think about the draft lottery. Did your team win or lose the lottery, or is your team still in the playoffs? If so, I'm jealous.
Our team isn't.
But this has been another episode of the Banter Broadcast. See you guys next time.